Hi guys, hope you're doing well. So today I am back here to talk about something that I've really wanted to talk about for a long time, and it is how bad parenting is ruining children's life in their 20s and early 30s, and how good parenting is creating magic. I know this is a topic that people don't really talk about because many of the kids from our generation have just accepted it and moved on, and I think I'm one of them as well. But I really think it's important to throw some light on what are the do's and the don'ts that parents tend to sometimes forget, and they do not see or recognize how these things are affecting the children in their 20s and their 30s. So, to make it a little short and make it a little crisp, I tried to take down a lot of notes while I was doing my journaling, and I really thought that, oh, why not talk about it? So, this is something that I want to start with. So, you know how parents can never be in good books of their children. Why? Because no matter what parent does, a child always thinks that it is, against them, or it's really bothering them, it's hurting them. For example, if the parent says, go study, they feel like, oh my god, why my mom or dad does not understand that I need some time to just play. They always seem like a villain in our minds, right? So even if a teacher says something, anybody who tries to say anything to the child which is against the child's wishes always seen as a villain stuff. But I'm not talking about that basic thing, but I'm talking about how stuff like, how our fathers took up beating the children or like scolding their children, because that's the only way they thought that they could actually take control over the kids life, to make the kids life better. So that's the only way they knew, because that's what the father's father did, or that's what the father's father did. So that's the only thing they know. So I don't think, or I don't know if that needs to be blamed, because I don't have control over what I cannot change. So let's not talk about that. But what we can do is make the present a better place to live. I still feel like we are so advanced in technology. We have become so advanced in spaces where we talk of our emotions and everything, but still there are parents that are doing some stuff wrong. And there are some things that I'm seeing in person, because I'm an active educator, so I take classes for my design students. So I have seen this happen a lot, and I can talk with my own personal experience how some of the stuff that happened in my parenting, some of the stuff that is happening in my friends' parenting, and I can only talk for me and my people. But stuff like, for example, regularly being screamed at. So when a parent or the custodian of the child keeps screaming at this child for like no apparent reason, what it is doing, it is hindering this child's self-worth, where the child thinks that maybe I'm not good enough, that's why I'm always being screamed at. Maybe this is how I am, maybe this is what I'm capable of, right? And I don't think you want that for your kid, right? I definitely think your intention is different as a parent for your kid, but somehow the emotion that you are trying to showcase to your child, it is being interrupted, or sorry, interpreted in a whole different way. So one of the other things that I pointed out is not given the chance to express their feeling. So this I've seen a lot, where parents try to quantify or try to segregate a child's emotion as right or wrong. So when a parent keeps saying that, oh no, what you're saying is wrong, it doesn't make sense, can you just act your age, right? So when this happens a lot, what I understand is that it is actually decreasing the trust that the child has on the parent, because they think, or they think twice or thrice before even they come to you for a certain advice, or they come to you for a certain thought process that they have. Maybe they think something is right, maybe they think of something that they really want to share with you, but they just shut off the moment you tell them, no, what you're saying is wrong. So we're going to talk about how this can be better, or what you can do to make this better. But right now, I'm just trying to point out what are some stuff that could seem very small when you're performing it at age where you feel the child will not even remember this. But trust me, the child remembers it at this age, because it starts affecting them slowly but truly. So the third one that I notice a lot, which is common in every single household, I can assure, at least for the 90s kids, is that the parents, when they keep fighting in front of the children, it's going to bring a lot of trauma for the child, trust me, because all they hear is this constant sound, right? They keep hearing this constant aggression, where there is dispute between their own parents for so and so reason. Could be a valid reason, could be an invalid reason, whatever. So the child comes into this position sometimes in some households where they have to take sides, where they have to say, oh, I think mom is right. Oh, no, I think the dad is right. Or maybe, I'm not just talking in terms of, the bigger stuff, but I'm talking about even the small quarrels at home. So maybe if you could avoid that in front of the children and do it in your own space, I think that will prevent a lot of stress for this child. Because what happens is, when this child grows up and goes into their own relationship, they cannot take calm, they cannot, feel the peace that there is in a silent relationship, because they always think, oh, this is not how our parents behaved, our parents were always fighting, quarreling, because so they come to this conclusion that that is what a relationship is, right? So you're defining a whole different a whole different status in front of them, and they will not know that you and your partner patches up after this fight, but all they see is this side, and maybe that's something that can be worked upon. And one more thing is the most important, and I think everyone's going to relate here, is where you have two children, or even you have one child, and they bring you their report card, and the first thing that you do is you do not care about how much this child has scored, but you care about what the friend has scored, you care about what the sibling has scored, and you somewhere without your knowledge are trying to compare these scores, right? So the moment you do that, how is it affecting this child in their 20s or early 30s? They start thinking that they are not good enough at all, no matter if they come second, they maybe don't score at all, maybe they don't get a certain position in their workplace. They always think they're not good enough, they don't give credit to their efforts. For example, I know so many children who have put so much effort but somehow do not score a certain mark, and at that time they do not validate the fact that they put so much hard work, the fact that they actually put in a certain effort, but all they care about is, oh, but I didn't score enough. So somewhere the mark or that score is becoming the defining factor of a child's hard work, which I think is completely wrong, because in their 20s or early 30s, what is going to make a huge difference is for this individual to give credit to their progress, right? Not just their achievements, because progress goes a long way, and excellence will come, of course, with repeated hard work and I think perseverance, right? So, one last thing before I leave is domestic violence. I think this is something that needs to be spoken about, and I think it's getting better right now. But somewhere, when a child is being beaten up in their childhood, or like being scolded for all of the stuff that I was talking about, somewhere they think that that's what they deserve, and maybe that's how life is. And somewhere when they grow up, when they go into their relationship, when they are in their friendships, you will notice that these individuals get into very toxic, toxic surroundings. They have sometimes very toxic friends. They end up being in very toxic relationships because they don't even know what's happening to them is a wrong thing. Because when they grew up with all this way of parenting where they were always scolded, they were always beaten up. So when they grow up and when they see this in their partner or friends, they don't even know to analyze that they are being treated badly. So that segregation never happens. So what I'm trying to say is there are no good parents or bad parents. It's just the methodology. I know we have come from this conventional way of parenting, and I understand that, I empathize with that, but I think we are in a much ahead generation now where we can make some corrections in how we want this to be better for the children who are right now growing up, right? So I don't know who's watching this video. Maybe if you are a parent watching this video who already has a kid in their 20s or 30s, maybe take some time to have discussions with them on, or have a lot of in-depth conversations with them on how some things from their childhood is affecting them, because I really think that conversation could do a lot. And maybe there will be this moment in the conversation where the child might ask apology to the parent, or maybe the parent is asking an apology to their child, and I really think that can bring a lot of difference. And one more thing is that when you give that space to your child at this age, I think somewhere some part of them is going to heal, and I can assure you. And I think this should happen, and this is this small initiative from my side. I do not know if this makes sense, but this is totally from part of my journaling, and I really thought this part of my journal has to go out. And whoever is listening to this, if you are a young parent, then amazing. I'm 100% sure that this generation with this thinking is going to do a great job. But I really hope that the individuals who had a very bad traumatic childhood can heal. It's going to take time, but I definitely hope that it heals and they pass on the right stuff to the next generation. And I hope that it's not a generational trauma. So thank you so much for listening to me all along, and see you in the next video.